It's no secret that I love to journal. I love to document my memories and explore my creativity and put my soul on the page. But I don't always have as much time as I would like to sit down and journal every day. And that is why I have been loving my month in review entries. They ensure that no matter how busy I am, I always have the most important memories of each month documented right here in my journal. I like to use certain prompts to help guide me in this process to figure out what I want to document. And this guide that I have here is actually a free printable available on my Patreon, so I'll have it linked down below. I typically sit down to create my month in review entry at the end of the month. So it's really helpful to have the journal prompts as well as a list of notes on all of the things I want to document. I like to create this list as the month is happening in my phone, so that way I don't have to remember everything at the end. When the end of the month finally rolls around, it's time to journal. So I like to start with the title of the month, and you can see I use the same style each time and put the month in the center of the page using this really great stencil, which I have linked in my Amazon shop. I'll then switch the style for each new year so that way I can tell them all apart. Of course, then we want to grab all of the different things we've collected throughout the month that we want to make sure we put in our entry. So I have a whole bunch of photos for this particular month of June, as well as some little ephemera pieces that I knew I wanted to include in this entry from my own collection. The dictionary pages and this little hazy post-it are perfect for documenting the wildfires that were occurring in Canada. And I also have a fun piece from an art exhibit that we went to. And then, of course, some great scrapbook paper to document our vacation, which was really the highlight of June. As you can see, we went to Ecuador and had an amazing adventure as chaperones for a high school trip with two of our best friends. And that really was a large bulk of the memories that we made in June, but also the time in June because we had a whole 10 days of the month in Ecuador. So naturally, it's going to be a really big focus of this month in review entry. So not everything has to have the same amount of weight given to it on the page. Some things I like to emphasize more than others, depending on how important they were to me. Because I'm trying to put so many memories onto one page, I obviously can't be doing long form journaling. So titles and captions are really important to explain what it is you're seeing on the page. And a lot of times the titles are very specific to the actual experience and might not be understood by people who are not ones who also had the experience. So Que Chévere is basically how cool in Spanish, and it's a cool way for me to document that time and also reflect on the fact that we were speaking Spanish a lot in the country, and that was a phrase that we used often because it was indeed a very cool trip. You also noticed that I did create a very long list of highlights from the trip. That is probably the most text that I have put onto a page for month in review journaling, but there just was so much that happened in that trip, and I wanted to be able to provide a brief caption for all of the major highlights. The next part of this entry is documenting spending time with the same couple, going to an art gallery in which there was an artist who had these stickers that she had of her art that anybody could take. So of course I grabbed one for my journal. So definitely keep your eye out for those opportunities to collect free items. It can be ticket stubs, stickers that businesses have available for free at their shop to advertise, napkins from a restaurant with the logo on it, invitations and brochures. All of these things make great ephemera for your journal and really bring the memories to life. Of course, I also like to think beyond just events and things that I'm doing and think about world events and things that are impacting me as well. And the Canada wildfires is a great example. Of course, it has not impacted me to the level that it has impacted others, and everybody who has been impacted by the wildfires, not only in Canada, but now in other parts of the world as well, like Hawaii. Just know that my prayers go out to you. But these are the types of events that mark a period of time for people, that they can also understand the context of this time in the world, while also capturing your personal experience with it. In my case, lots of air quality issues where I live and making it difficult for me to train. One of my other favorite things to document every month is the season I am in. I am definitely somebody who really appreciates seasonal living, in part because I do live in a place where we experience all 4 seasons. So I always love to document what is happening in nature. And in this case, I got to document what was happening in my garden and what flowers are currently in bloom. So I just went ahead and labeled them. It's also very important to me that my month in review journaling not only capture the big moments, but also the everyday adventures. And this sticker collection from my Patreon is one of my favorites for documenting those types of moments. If you're interested in this collection and having access to my entire digital sticker shop, definitely check out Patreon, linked below. So this collection is all about the things that we do mostly in our local community that are available for us to participate in right around where we are. And one of them, as you can see, is attending a local fair, which was perfect for my June entry because we did exactly that. Our little town has a fair every summer. It's in walking distance from my home, so it's really, really a lovely experience. And I got to go with my mother-in-law, and it wouldn't be summer without getting ice cream after, which I also had a sticker for from this collection. Of course, I don't always use my own stickers. I like to branch out and use stickers from different shops as well. These are sticker books that I just have picked up from craft stores, so you certainly can get different ephemera and items for your journaling from anywhere. I encourage you to start small. You don't have to go crazy to start, but I do think that these creative elements really bring the page to life. But if you're brand new to journaling, I recommend either using digital stickers because it's a lot cheaper, so definitely check out Patreon, or just buying one sticker book that really encapsulates a lot of the types of things that you would typically be journaling about. Just one sticker book will do, and then have a favorite pen that you can play with and use different fonts and styles to do your titles. You don't need stamps and all of the fancy stuff. If you don't have that yet, you can always build what you have over time. I did not start out having this much craft and journaling and scrapbooking supplies. I built this collection over a very long period of time. So just keep that in mind when you're watching other people journal, especially in a creative way. Here is a great example of how I try to visually separate the different memories from each other. In this case, I just created a little framing box around Hit the Gym. Sometimes I'm using stickers and using that as the frame, or just in the way that I do the title, or place another sticker or illustration helps to separate the memories. But because these pages are so busy, it has so much going on, I really think it is helpful to have that visual separation so that you can tell each of the memories apart and kind of work around the page, identifying what all of the highlights are and what you're reviewing, while it also being really cohesive as a whole picture. One of the categories of journal prompts that I don't often talk about as much is reflection, and it is something that I think is so important to use in your month in review journaling and reflect on what is currently happening, not just in your life in terms of events and memories, but what is happening with you as a person. So things like, what am I liking and loving? What am I disliking? What am I praying about? What am I proud of? What is a challenge I overcame? What is something I learned? These are all great examples of things you can ask yourself as you're creating your month in review, because it's not only about the events and the memories, but it's also about how you are growing as a person. Another highlight for me this month is being back on Patreon, so I would love to have you consider joining us over there, and I just want to say the biggest thank you to my patrons. You all have been so patient with me through this summer and all of my travel, and I'm just abundantly grateful for your support. Here you can see I just used one of the printable stickers from my shop. That is a very simple quote: "Don't count the days, make the days count," perfect for journaling. And using quotes like this that are about journaling, about memory keeping, reminders about how we should live our lives are great additions to your month in review entries when you maybe just need something to fill the space, but also it's just nice to have the reminders sprinkled throughout your journal too. This entry is nearly all filled, and because I do like the maximalist look when it comes to these entries, I do go around and just fill any of the blank space with doodles, stickers. I love using little word strips to describe what is happening, and they often are a great way to express my emotions related to what's on the page. And then a few final doodles helps to bring the page all together, and with that, another month is documented in my journal. All of these memories are captured in one place that I can turn to and reflect on and remember fondly for years and years to come. I hope that you enjoyed getting to see my process for creating a month in review entry. I have many more videos on this topic, so if you want to learn more, I encourage you to check out this playlist or my most recent video. And until next time, keep exploring your abiding creativity and document a life abiding in faith, hope, and love.